All right, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Swag Her Media. As you join us this evening, say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We are here with a What's Going On segment, and I have a very, very special guest with us this evening. She has a awesome memoir coming out, and she has a powerful testimony. And so I'm excited to sit down with her this evening. And as you guys join us again, I want you guys to help me welcome author Dani. Hi, Dani. Welcome.
Hey. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and good evening to you. Thank you for having me. And the
Absolutely.
memoir is already out. Part one is already out. So,
Okay, part one is out. Yes, that is correct. And I am so
yes.
excited because you have so much to share. And I just want us to just get into as much as we can. But I'm excited. And so we're going to just jump right in. As you guys already have heard, um, Dani is an author, and so she's many things, by the way, but she's an author as well. And she has her memoir out, part one, Pretty Little Bastard Child. Now, the title is pretty heavy, but it is powerful. And so, if you could just share with us, Dani, what brought you to write this book?
Well, first off, I give all the glory and all the honor to God. I want to say that I wish I didn't have to write the book, but I'm grateful that God brought me through for the time as now, so I could write the book. And, you know, as you said, it's my testimony. It was time. It is something that us women, and I'm not to say that men don't go through sexual trauma or emotional and physical trauma as kids, but because they do. But we women, we hold it, and we hold it for longer, and we hold it, and it comes out in different ways that we wish it didn't, but it does. And unfortunately, some of the women that I know that just couldn't let go of the hurt and the trauma have passed on. And I just didn't want to be one of them people. I'm like, God brought me through and brought me through other things for a reason. And the time is now to share my story. Time ain't getting no longer, and I ain't getting no younger. So it was time. So, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And you found purpose within the pain, right?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
powerful, so powerful. And you being a voice is encouraging others out there to say, I
Mhm.
just I'm gonna be encouraged. I'm going to take the step. I'm gonna start sharing my
Yeah.
story. So that is so
Mhm.
wonderful, so powerful. So thank you so much for your courage. Thank you for
Mhm.
your courage. It's not easy to do. So thank you so
Ooh.
much. Um,
It's like if I gave birth. It really was my baby, and it took me 18. It took me 18 years to finally gather the courage to
mhm.
put it down on paper. I mean, in different times, in different journals and so on and so forth throughout my life, I wrote certain things, certain aspects of my
Right.
story down. However, to put it all together and relive it, and when
Mhm.
you write, it's something different about when you share it verbally and when you write it on paper. It's a whole different thing,
Oh
and
yeah,
it takes a whole lot more guts to actually see that black and white looking back at you. So.
absolutely. And even experiencing some emotions and things that could be pretty challenging, I'm sure.
Yes.
Dani, if you could just touch briefly on what would you say to someone who maybe asks the question, why do people wait so long? Why don't you say something at the moment? Like, why does it take maybe 18 years? If you could just shed some light, because I too have overcome, the same thing. And so it took me a while as well. And so I always tend to hear that. If you could just shed some
Hmm.
light about that.
Hmm. Well, first and foremost, to be quite honest, chronologically, the events of this particular part of the book happened 48 years ago. It took me, I made the decision back in 2005 that I was going to write the book, and then life kept on lifing. you
Right.
know, uh, Either this came, I was in a new relationship, and I'm all right now, new person in
Mhm.
my life, I'm all in love, everything is red and happy, different job, this this happened, that happened, raising children, and they had some life issues. So everything was kind of like, okay, wait, I'll put this on hold and I'll come back to this later. Let me deal with this. This is more important right now. And what I really didn't realize was, no, none of that was as important as healing, because the reality of it all is the longer that you sit on these emotions, the longer that you keep these secrets that, it cause resentments, that cause hurt, that cause pain. And the reality was the perpetrators had been long gone. They had been, God then called them home and they sleeping in their grave. And I was running around, hurting me and still not knowing how to set boundaries and accepting things that, because, when you're traumatized as a kid, you always run around on fight or flight mode. So you either ready to
Mhm.
pop off or you cower. It's one or the other, because
Right.
you don't deal with those feelings that cause you to go either, to one way of anger or to a fear of everything. So at a certain point in my life, I'm like, you know what? I can't help nobody. I can't heal nobody. I can't do nothing. And all of this stuff God had put into my spirit. I couldn't be a good deacon. I couldn't be a good parent. I couldn't be a good mate. I couldn't stop abusing me with all kinds of different drugs and alcohol and, just accepting different things from people because I wasn't dealing with the hurt that was caused to me. So, the most important thing is you can't love nobody unless you loving on you first.
That's a word. That's a word. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's so true. And
Mhm.
how did you, if you could tell us about your healing journey and process, and how did you come to a place of forgiveness? Because I know that wasn't easy. And so what did that look like for you?
Well, the healing process is it's not over, and let me make that very clear. We make statements, we make generalized statements that says heal people, right? And that's true. Heal people do heal people. But healing
Mhm.
is definitely not finite. Healing is infinite. Until God closes these pretty browns, blues, or greens or grays, you are not completely healed. You will always have something come across you in your day-to-day basis that will make you, it'll trigger something, or it'll bring back a memory. You'll be driving down the highway, somebody could cut you off. You could be just daydreaming in a red light. Maybe something happened in a car and a different smell could come up. All of these things can trigger you if you're not in that place of healing. That's number one. So healing is definitely a lifetime process. It's not one day you wake up and you're healed. You might be able to tolerate more. You might be able to digest more of the daily pains that come through being a black lesbian woman. So let's just be straight up.
Mhm.
Like all of these things that come across, and people, they look at your outsides and they're judgmental. So they don't know what your journey was. That's why I say be kind. If you can't smile, at least be kind to a person. It don't cost you nothing, because everybody's fighting a struggle. That's number
Mhm.
one. Number two, forgiveness is not for that person. I forgave my father. I forgave my uncle. I forgave my mother for not protecting me or being there like she should. I forgave those people because, again, like I said a little while ago, they were all dead and in their graves, sleeping, wherever they at. Only God knows where, they know their soul, they know their heart, but only He knows where He pulled them to, right? But I was running around here doing all kinds of crazy stuff to myself, abusing other people, putting my hands on people, cussing people out, acting crazy because I hadn't forgiven what happened to me. It's not letting them off the hook. It's saying you don't have me locked and loaded on stupid. I'm not stuck anymore in that thing you did. Okay, it happened and it hurt, and God knows it hurt. But you know what?
Mhm.
Hurt people hurt people as well. So I couldn't keep holding on to the fact that, this happened. Okay, it happened. And this person of all people did it. Okay, but that person gone. What you gonna do? How long you gonna hold on to the fact that it happened? Let's live, because I like to use the analogy. holding on to a resentment, right, and not forgiving someone is like peeing on yourself, right? And it's crazy, but I want you to think about what I'm saying to you. People on the outside of you might see the wet stain, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
might go and do, oh, child, that child beat on, da, 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 da. But who feels it?
You do.
Me, and only
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yes.
And that's the thing. People around me knew I was still hurting. People around me saw that I was still in pain. People around me saw that I was still doing, very abusive things to myself. But the only person that I was hurting was me. So I had to forgive. I'm never going to forget it. It's a scar that will never, ever go away. But it doesn't hurt anymore. It doesn't itch anymore. It don't scratch. I don't have to scratch on it and keep on opening up the wound. It's still there. But it doesn't have me stuck in a corner in a fetal position anymore. So, forgiveness is not for you. It's for me, so I can live.
I love that. That's such freedom. That's such freedom. I
It's
love
freeing,
that so
that
much.
part.
Yes,
It takes
freedom.
the bondage off of me. So
Hmm. I love it so much. I love it. And that's definitely a great analogy. Lakeisha said that as well. And how do you, or where is your source of joy come from after you've been through so much pain?
you know, when one realizes that I wasn't brought into the world for the world to give me joy, I
Hmm.
was brought into the world to give joy to the world.
Woo!
So, being that the world didn't give it to me, when I
Very true.
realized who I was and whose I was and what I was supposed to be doing, it's just like what JFK said. Though, I'm the president and ask not what you can do for me, but what I can do for you. It's not about the world giving me happiness, because see, that's the problem. Whenever you keep looking, you can look for money and you become greedy. It's never enough. One is too many, it's a thousand is never enough. You can never buy enough pocketbooks and pairs of shoes. You can never have one too many drinks. Okay, I can't drink like this in front of that one, but when I get home, I'm gonna get lit. It's never enough to fill up that void. And when you realize that you have to be happy in order for someone to enhance that happiness, you have to have joy. And that joy comes from deep within. I've accepted every wrinkle. I've accepted every little gnarly, whatever, little bump and mole and pimple.
I
I don't be
agree.
wearing all that makeup and all that stuff. This is what it is. This, what you see is what you get. And when I realized that I am beautiful, I am fearlessly and wonderfully made, and God loves me just as I am. And when he's not loving me, he deals with me. He convicts me. I don't need the world. Y'all didn't give it to me. So I can't, what you think about me, I don't care. It's what I think about me. Now, if I
Mhm.
could look at myself in the mirror every night before I go to sleep and know in my heart of all hearts that I did the best that I could, I'm at peace, I'm happy, and I feel joy because I know I did it and I did it my best. Now,
Yeah.
tomorrow, I just gonna strive to be better than I was today. And when I realized that that's all I had to live for, and just give the people what God gave to me, that's where the joy came from.
I love that. I'm telling you, that is true freedom. True freedom. Free from performance-based living, just completely being your full self.
Is it?
I heard a quote a few years ago that stuck with me, and it said, "The kingdom of God is not something that we pull down; it's something that we pull out."
Right,
That blew my mind. And
right.
so, similar to what you just shared about joy, it's
Mm-hmm,
within. Uh,
mm-hmm,
Oftentimes, we look outward, but it's
mm-hmm.
all within, and that was
Yeah,
just so beautifully said. So thank
that's
you
what
for
it
that.
is. That's what it is.
Love that.
Love it, love it, love it.
I
Thank you,
love that.
God.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to any aspiring authors or writers who are looking to share their story and really tap into the creative side of who they are?
Well, what I'll tell them is don't do like I did. Don't keep waiting for the right time. There's never going to be a right time. Don't keep waiting for that book deal or for somebody that says, I want to read your manuscript and I'm going to give you this. Write it. Write it.
Mhm.
Stop sitting around, jiving around, playing on Facebook and messing around on TikTok and watching everybody else live their phony life that they want you to think that they living on this boob tube called social media. While you have that free time, while you're sitting around, while when I wrote my book and I had just learned how to walk all over again. I had major spinal surgery and God removed everything, moved me to a new state, couldn't work, couldn't do nothing but sit around and have time to write. And what I thought the devil had done was going to take me out. Oh, Lord, what am I going to do now? I spent all the money moving. I can't walk. I'm depressed. Oh, woe is me. How the bills going to get paid? My manuscript from 18 years ago, the first 10 pages fell out of a box that I hadn't unpacked. And I said, okay, God, this is the second time you let me find this in the last 6 months. I hear you. I'm not waiting no more. And I started writing. Don't wait. It's never going to be a right time. Why put off for tomorrow what you could do today? Just start writing. You don't have to know how. You don't have to know how to type. You don't have to know where the money's coming from. You don't have to believe in, okay, nobody's going to want to read this. How do you know that until you write it?
Mhm.
It's not, look, stop sitting around just thinking that, stay out of your head. The biggest defeater that most of us have in our life is this thing in between these two ears, these 6 inches. If people talk to us as bad as we talk to ourselves sometimes, we probably beat them down.
So good.
Just get to it.
It's so
Start writing.
true.
That's what you do.
Mhm.
Everything else will come.
I love it. So
Mm-hmm.
I hope everyone listening is really just taking all of these gems that Dani is sharing. Start today. Start today. Don't wait. There's no perfect time. Just tap into what God is calling you to do. This is so amazing. Thank you, Dani.
Thank
We
you.
are
Thank you. Thank you.
inspired. You got us all like we're excited. Like I'm excited. I was like, oh my goodness, this is just the encouragement
Oh,
necessary as
thank you
we
so
really
much.
just go
You
into
so
this
much.
second quarter. Thank you so much for that. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
what would you
Today is the
say?
first. The day is the first day of the second quarter. No,
Yes,
no, no, no. Don't let it pass you by. You done marched your way right behind March. Now it's April. What you gonna do? Spring ahead. Spring away. Grow like the flowers. Let's do something. We got stuff to do. Let's go. Let go.
yes, that's right. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you had to share, and I know you have so many, but if you had to share your most important life lessons, and I know that that's a big question, what would that be? What would that look like?
Most important life lesson that I learned is God, self, than others. That's the most important life lesson that I learned. Um, because of my trauma, I always wanted people to like me. You could do whatever you wanted to me. Just don't leave me. Just tell me you like me. Let me be your friend. Please be my friend. Blah, 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 blah. And I put everybody in front of me for many years of my life. And then I realized that those same people wouldn't give me a bag of groceries when I was sitting home sick. They didn't pick up the phone. They didn't say, hey, you okay? They always had their hand out because when I was out in the world, I was doing those things that get us money. I was living that life and I always had it to give. And I always spoiled my people with money. And I did what I watched my mother do. My mother bought her friends. And what I realized was no more because takers don't put boundaries on how much they take from you, but givers have to learn. And it was a hard one lesson. However, when I learned that if I put God first in everything I do, then I think about me. It's just like when you're on a plane, right? And they say if you hit turbulence or for whatever reason, if you need to open the door, da 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 da. What do they say? Put your own mask on first,
Mm-hmm.
then assist others. When I learned that, it's one of the best lessons. No is a complete sentence. I learned that. Yeah, it's most important.
Oh,
And that
yeah.
and that doesn't and that's not taking anything away from the fact that I was the head of the outreach ministry for the church. I feed the homeless. I still go in my pocket and, give $1. I'll take, if they're standing in front of Dunkin' Donuts, I'm not going to give you any money because you might be going to do what I know I used to do with it. You gather up enough, you're going to get high. I'm going to feed you. I'm going to take you inside. I'm going to look. Whatever he orders, here's $10. Don't give him no change. Give him as much as $10 can buy. And I'll go on about my business. But if I don't have $10 to give you, if I don't have $10 to give me, how can I give you $10? Before I would give people my last, and then I wouldn't have enough to take care of me, but I just took care of you, So I learned how to stop doing that.
It's so powerful, powerful, powerful indeed. Thank you so much. Dani, please tell us how we can support your memoir, how we can stay in touch with you and connect with you as well.
Well, I'm on Instagram as at author Dani.d3. You can hit me there. My website is www.authordanid.com. I'm on Facebook as Danielle N. Dubois Matthews. And everything is connected. People who know me know that I've had the same number. I ain't nobody big, I'm look, I never forget where I come from. My phone number, for those who have it, it's listed on all of my socials. It's been the same since 2001. That's never going to change unless people start getting real weird. You can purchase the book on Amazon.com/Pretty Little Bastard Child. It's in Walmart.com. It's on Barnes and Noble Books. And, I'm coming to a city near you. This book is doing things. Actually, it's getting ready to become a series. Looking for some investors. The investors out there, Pretty Little Bastard Child needs you. We getting ready to do a sizzle reel to really make it, because it's raw and it's deep. And, if you're not dealing with your pain, and if you haven't stepped into the place of healing, this ain't the book for you. Yeah, I'm turning away money. I'm telling you for real, for real. This is some deep, dark stuff. And by the time you get to part 3, people will think, oh, no, I'm not a victim, and I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for none of that. I'm looking to talk to that child that's stuck right now, whose mom is about to put them out in the street, bashing them over the head with the Bible, talking about, Adam and Eve instead of, look, find a way to talk to your child. Because when you put your child out in the street because you don't understand them, guess what you're leaving them out to? The wolves. If your child comes to you, your little boy or your little girl, and says, hey, mommy, I don't want you to let him over here. Child, go on in your room. What you talking about? No, listen to that child. Take that child in another room and allow them to explain to you why they feel that way. If my book does nothing but touch one person and keep one child from being subjected to the pain that I went through, then my job is done. If it turns one parent that takes the same Bible verses that the white man used to enslave us, to keep us enslaved emotionally, if it turns one person to just say, hey, look, only God can sit high and look low, then my job is done. If it causes a dialogue between the haves and the have-nots, then my job is done. So I'm looking to touch as many lives as I can before God closes these pretty browns. And obviously, if I'm still here through all of the stuff that happened in these books, God has a purpose for my life, the same way He got a purpose for yours.
Amen. Amen. Dani, thank
So,
you so much. That was so powerful.
thank
And I can
you.
just tell from the chat that everybody has been so blessed by you. You've poured so much into us tonight. And so we want
Thank
to
you. Thank you.
thank you for your time. Thank you for your
Thank
gift.
you.
Thank
Thank
you for your
you.
testimony. We thank God for your life. Thank you for your pour. Thank
Oh
you.
my God.
Thank you.
Mm,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you guys, and keep on doing what you're doing. There's so many women that's being touched by your journey at Swag Her Magazine, and we needed this. We needed this because,
Mm.
you know, everybody ain't willing to tell our stories authentically, you know. So thank you for allowing me to be myself.
It's our pleasure. We are so grateful for this platform, this safe place where, like you said, ladies of all journeys of life can come and share. And so it's beautiful. And we are so
Mhm.
grateful that you've been able to just share with us this evening. Everyone watching, thank you for tuning in. Share this broadcast with someone because we know it's going to bless so many. So please be sure to just hit the share button, even if it's the replay. Just go ahead and share it. Danny, again, thank you. We
Thank
are
you.
so grateful, and we will be doing this again because this was powerful.
Thank you
Everyone,
so
God bless
much.
you. Stay connected with Swag Her, and we will see you again really soon. Take care, everyone. Thank
Be
you.
blessed. Don't let nobody steal your joy out there, guys. And thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Swagger appreciates it. And my darling, blessings to you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care now.